This melody has been heard for hundreds of years. It's played from here, looking down on the second biggest shrine on the planet. It's calling on people to come to pray. More than 27 million people travel here every year. It's run by the most powerful non-government organization in Iran. There are thousands of servants here. They volunteer to provide calm and comfort to the pilgrims. They are doctors, scientists, lawyers, and ministers who come to support the pilgrims on their journey to the heart of the shrine.
When I go there, I prefer to prepare this situation for all of them, serve them.
Each servant has their own description of the Imam and his principles.
امامان مظهر اخلاق خدا هستند. اینا مطهرن. اینا مصدقن. اینا هم تصدیق شده هستند و هم تصدیق کننده هستند.
And they all talk about their contribution to the shrine with utmost pride.
ما که خودم هیچیه. این مشهدی‌ها همه ایرانی‌ها اینا که مسلمان شه. اینا همه باید قدر بدنن. که همچی یک آقای دله.
This is the story of how the 8th Shia Imam turned the small city of Nuhan into one of the most important religious places on earth. This is the story of Imam Reza and his kingdom. In 633 AD, one of the greatest civilizations on earth, the Persian Empire, witnessed the rise and spread of Islam in the region. Within a short span of time, Islam expanded to the four corners of the planet. The key to its success was the capture of Persia. The Islamic conquest of Persia led to the end of the Sassanid Empire and the eventual decline of the Zoroastrian religion. However, the achievements of the previous Persian civilizations were not lost but were to a great extent embraced by the new Islamic State.
Iran and Islam owe one another a debt of gratitude. In other words, Islam has had a critical role in constructing Iranian civilization. And on the other hand, Iranian scientists have played an important role in developing Islamic teachings.
حقیقتش را بگویم به دفعات به فکر کشتن او افتادم.
Although the combination of Islamic values and Persian wealth and culture resulted in the Islamic Golden Age, unprecedented wealth and power, as well as Shia-Sunni disagreements, divided the descendants of Prophet Muhammad and the ruling parties. The way forward for the greedy heads of states was to discredit the top religious figures. They knew if this family was around, their popularity would thwart their evil plans.
Ma'mun
definitely thought of Imam Reza as his sworn enemy. On the other hand, Imam Reza thought of Ma'mun as a ruthless caliph who had illegally assumed the caliphate, which was the right of Banu Hashim and the Prophet's successors, whom we call Imams. However, Ma'mun, as a cunning Abbasid caliph, tried to adopt a policy different from his ancestors. It must be noted that he did not so of his own accord. In fact, the pull of history forced him to make his peace with Imam Reza.
Ma'mun's political gesture was to pretend to offer the leadership to Imam Reza. The Imam's response was short and clear. If leadership was your right and Allah chose it for you, you do not have the right to offer it to another. And if it wasn't your right, then you do not have the authority to offer me that which is not yours. Eventually, Ma'mun, the Caliph of Marv, forcefully exiled Imam Reza from Medina to Khorasan, an area in the northeast of Iran.
با توجه به اینکه امام از دسترسش خارج بود،
The Imam was beyond the reach of Ma'mun, and the Caliph knew well that it would cause problems for the government. So, with a clever trick, he invited the Imam to Marv. After all, the Imam knew Ma'mun's hidden agenda, so he rejected his invitation. Once more, Ma'mun invited the Imam. This time, Ma'mun's envoys forced the Imam to embark on a journey to Marv, all against his will. The Imam certainly knew that it was his last journey and he wouldn't come back to his homeland.
The outcome of the debates only added to the greatness of Imam Reza and elevated Shia Islam to a whole new level scientifically.
And Imam Reza answered them in the language they were asked. This is a reason that the Imam, as one of the Prophet's successors, was appointed by God. There is not one single session reported in which the Imam's argument was not convincing. All those people who participated in the debates found the Imam's arguments cogent. From those who asked the Imam to Ma'mun himself, who was the arbiter of the debates, to his men, who were mainly the Imam's enemies.
Imam Reza's trip to Khurasan was the last one of his life. It was in Khurasan where Ma'mun, the opposite caliph, murdered him. His tomb drew hundreds of thousands of Shia pilgrims to Khurasan, and very soon the area was transformed into a flourishing city called Mashhad, or the place of martyrdom. The city is now the most sacred site, attracting millions of Iranians and others from around the world who go there every year to pay their respects. And that has changed Iran forever.
More than 27 million pilgrims every year visit the holy shrine of Imam Reza alayhi salam. Out of this, more than 2 million are foreigners, and from this, about 4,000 are non-Muslims. They are from Europe, America, and even from South Asia. From all over the world, almost, we have the pilgrims who come for visiting the shrine.
This sacred site has been the center of attention for many centuries, and that hasn't been without problems. In 993 AD, the holy shrine was ruined by Sabuktakin, a Ghaznavid king. The Mongol invasion, led by Genghis Khan, wreaked havoc with the holy shrine once again. Since that time, the shrine has been rebuilt and all its surrounding buildings expanded.
The greatest expansion of the shrine happened during the Timurid era. Maybe that's because Mashhad was the center of Timurid dynasty, which resulted in the expansion of the city and consequently the shrine. During the Safavid era, again for a special circumstance of the time, the shrine was rebuilt and decorated, even better than before. Many art branches manifested themselves here in the shrine. The same was true in the Qajar dynasty. To put in a nutshell, the expansion has been done over time to accommodate the growing number of the pilgrims.
Millions of pilgrims have visited this site for hundreds of years, and their generous donations have helped turn the small shrine into a magnificent structure that now spans about 1 million square meters. The shrine that entombs Imam Reza's grave is the largest mosque in the world by dimension and the second largest in capacity. The complex also includes Goharshad Mosque, a museum, a library, the Razavi University of Islamic Sciences, dining halls, vast prayer halls, and many other buildings. It is a tourist hub in Iran. The works of Persian art have their roots joined with Imam Reza's devotion to peace and harmony, and that relationship has prompted the artists who designed the place to make it most beautiful as well as religious.
The architecture of a religious buildings follows the principle of unity in the diversity. It's a principle in architecture according to which everything must be at service of one single being. The aim is to create a sense of oneness. Even early architects of this construction were fully aware of this principle. They wanted the pilgrims filled in front of a superior being. Despite all the complexities in design, form and color, and then invoke Imam Reza to help them get connected to him. So, all these complex designs have been made to create an atmosphere in which we feel ourselves in front of the Creator. And I think that architects have been successful in this regard. A religious architecture has managed to create such a unique atmosphere in this place through adjusting the heights, proportions, sizes, dimensions, and forms.
اون موجود حقیر در قبال خالق یکتا حس بکنیم.
The Holy Grave is located under an amazing golden dome. The mirror work in the Holy Burial Chamber under the dome is one of the finest in the world. The Holy Grave itself is inside a zari, or a silver grill, which is also one of the finest examples of Iranian Islamic art. In the year 2000, engineer Mehdi Azizian was chosen to organize the construction, expansion, and replacement of the old zari. As a servant of Imam Reza, he considers that opportunity his greatest honor.
It was a difficult job to prevent the pilgrims from coming into the shrine. A few minutes ago, I said that the shrine's gates have never been closed. But actually, it happened once, and the doors were closed for 55 days to change the zari. Though every side of the zari was over 1.5 tons in weight, we never used regular transportation vehicles. We had to use things suitable enough to pass through different doors of different heights. It was a taxing job, and for me, it was marvelous to see that the project was completed on time and within a short period of time.
The wonderful zari was made by 10 master Iranian craftsmen under the supervision of the internationally celebrated artist master Farshchian. He was never paid for this. In Shia Islam, it's an honor to serve and invest in religious places of pilgrimage with no expectation of a return. It is called waqf. Waqf in Arabic means restriction, because it says that all properties belong to God. It is one of the greatest economic practices recommended by Islam. It is a long-term investment for the whole community with endless benefits. Waqf, or endowment, is charitable work widely used throughout Islamic history to build up communities. It usually benefits the community as a whole by offering a service that is useful to society.
وقف یک سنت دینی است. به این معنا که شخصی بخشی از دارایی
is a religious tradition in which a person donates parts of his or her property for religious or charitable purposes. A person may build a school for children to study in, or a hospital for the poor to be treated in. These are two examples of waqf. In fact, one meaning of waqf is to donate part of all your property for the public interest. It must be noted that here property is used in its broad meaning. It doesn't mean just money. It can be knowledge, time, and the like. For example, there are some people who devote their time for a few days a month to serve in the holy shrine of Imam Reza.
در آستان حرم امام علیه السلام خدمتگزاری کنند.
Waqf in today's sense has turned into life-serving missions. Most people who made this fascinating structure as magnificent as it is today worked for free, like doctors, engineers, lawyers, ministers, as well as ordinary workers would devote their time and energy on the upkeep of the Imam's mausoleum and its premises. Dr. Sarafaz is a doorman. He spends his time guiding the pilgrims trying to find their way around in the building.
I believe from that place, by serving Imam, by staying there, by making worship to Imam, and asking and introducing Imam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and asking him, because of Imam, give me this and give me that.
با من کار ندارین شما؟ با من کار ندارین؟ من دیگه میرم حرم با امید خدا انشالله تا دیگه بعد از ظهر انشالله با امید خدا با خدمتتون میرسیم.
In the Shia context, Imams are community leaders. Here, people believe they were chosen by God to be perfect examples for the faithful and to lead humanity in all aspects of life. They also believe Imams are free from committing any sin. This is Mr. Shikuhi. He is one of the oldest servants of Imam Reza. In the past 68 years, he has played a special traditional drum-like instrument twice a day in Nagar Khane, a rooftop balcony overlooking the whole shrine. A loud reminder for the people who may miss the time to pray.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. به نام خدا. بنده احمد اقوام شکوهی هستم. متولد 1305. 68 ساله. صبح عصر همه روزه، جمعه شنبه همه روزه من حاضرم برای نواخونه امام رضا. روز 2 مرتبه صبح و عصر هر روزه من میام. نه جمعه دارم نه شنبه دارم، غیر از ایام اعضا. این شهر مشهد سابق کوچیک بوده. تمام شهر مشهد صدای مردم 20 دقیقه به طلوع آفتاب که شروع میشه میزدن، بچه‌هاشو بیدار میکردن پاشن نماز دار بخونن که نماز قضا نشه. وقتی تمام میشه نماز قضا میشه. اینا ردیف وامیستن. یک کرنا به نام سرنوازیه، 7 دیگهش ردیف وامیستن 8. بعدن اون کرنا رو بلند میکنه، رو به گنبد مطهر سلام میده، میگه سلطان دنیا و عقبال موسی رضا. باقیه همه جواب میدن میگن امام رضا. مجدد رو باید میگن، اینا میگن امام رضا، باز اینا میگن قریب رضا. مولا مولا رضا جون رضا جون رضا جون، یا امام قریب امام رضا، رضا جون رضا جون رضا جون. دوران امام رضا میگه ای داد رسی بیچاره کن، باز اون میگه ای داد رسی درمون کن، فریاد رس فریاد رس. وقتی کنار میگیرم یا فتا یا فتا.
Professor Sarfraz has studied chemistry at Birmingham University in Britain. He is a former MP representing Mashhad constituency in Iran's parliament and is now a leading lecturer and researcher at the University of Mashhad. He puts in a 12-hour shift every 8 days to serve pilgrims in the shrine.
Sometimes I'm so busy in university and with my working and my class, but I never left the harem. So I prefer to go there first and then my class. I never left these things because it's very important for me to go in there and giving the service. So because this has been really in our family, my grandfather, my father, so now me. So every 80 days, I go there for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours for working there.
اینجا دارای راهنمایی.
اینجا که اینجا هستن اصلا. خب خیلی خوش اومدین، تشریف آوردین منزل ما. به حال شما یه موقع اومدین که ما حالا تنها موندیم با حاج خانم، بچه‌ها هم همه خدا رو شکر که به حال برای کار علمی و برای آیندهشون رفتن خارج کشور. پسر بزرگم که الان دکتراش تموم شد و فعلا توی کار پژوهشی خیلی مهمی در دانشگاه نیویورک مشغوله، به عنوان استاد اونجا هستش. پسر بعدیمون که اینجا فیزیک میخون، حالا دکتراشو داره توی آمریکا میگذرونه با همسرشون که ایشون هم در حقیقت رشته کامپیوتر میخونن. دختر منم که خب ایران پزشکیش تموم شد و طرحشو گذرونده، حالا شوهرشون بورسیه دانشگاه هست و اینها، دانشگاه آزاد، ایشون رفته به دانشگاه در آلمان، اونجا پیش شوهرش هست یک سالی ایشالا. خود خانمم چون به حالشون هم مدرس دانشگاه هستن، دانشگاه فردوسی و آزاد درس میدن، همیشون چندین ساله که با حرم همکاری میکنن. تو بخش مشاوره حرم ایشون جزو مشاورین خانواده حرم هستن که هفته چند روز اونجا میرن خدمت میکنن، مردم میان، زوارا میان، ازشون راجع به مسائل اجتماعی خانوادگی مشورت میگیرن.